Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome from a very, very sunny Bournemouth today. Beautiful day today, not a cloud in the sky. Well, one or two little clouds, sort of long, thin, straight ones. But apart from that, absolutely gorgeously phenomenal day today. Managed to get a few things done after what was for me a very, very busy and intense 10 days or so. By the way, I'm sat outside a lovely cafe here in Bournemouth, right near a place called Lansdowne, which is just near where I live. They do an amazing coffee here, so every now and then I treat myself and come down there and sit outside and just watch the world go by. But anyway, I hope you are all doing fine too. I hope you've got 3 weekends all in one piece, and everybody's got into the week okay as well. Yes, getting back to what I was going to say, I had an intense few days. My daughter, for those who know my sort of story a little bit, came over for a 10-day or so visit. The first time I'd actually seen her in the flesh for 7 years. And I mean, way too much for me to explain here on the video, and it's personal anyway, and I don't want to bore you all because we all have our own personal stuff going on. But it was very surreal, you know. It was one of those things that I was trying to enjoy every moment and bottle every moment up as it was happening, and of course, which is impossible. And I was already sort of missing her before she'd even, embarked on her return, as it were. It was all very strange, but in a positive manner. But it was a great experience. It enabled everybody to sort of bond and reconnect within the family, which was nice. And have her reconnect with her cousins and my nieces and nephews and stuff like that, and all that sort of thing. So that was really enjoyable to sort of witness and experience. And it was also interesting to see how people were flip-flopping between languages as well. I do speak German because I lived in Germany for over half of my life altogether. I'm 52. My daughter was born in Germany, but she has a mother from the Republic of Georgia, which means she speaks Georgian. She also speaks a bit of Russian, and she speaks English because that's what they learn in school in Germany, which is where she goes to school. So it was all quite interesting, and of course my English family, who also have the same German connections as me, but haven't lived in Germany as long as me, so their German isn't as good, but they understand most of it though. So it was, one of those where you have a lot of sentences where you have two different languages going on in one sentence, and all that sort of thing. It was great, it was enjoyable, and very amusing at times too. But that aside, as you may have also noticed, and I added it to my shorts here on my YouTube channel, we had to fly back she had to fly back from Heathrow. I took her back to Heathrow Airport, Terminal 5. And of course, the little incident with the intelligent inspector happened. These are little machines, robotic sort of machines that drive around at walking pace. I don't know why they have that, because at the end of the day they've got cameras everywhere, they've got people looking through windows. I've worked at an airport, so I've done that. I worked at an airport back in the 90s and it was like that, so that would have just increased, you know what I mean, in terms of coverage. So I'm not too sure what the necessity for one of those mobile things is, unless of course you're a bit of a cynic like myself, or a realist as some may say, and suggest that it's just adds to the total surveillance. That's the world in which we live. It's grown on us slowly, surreptitiously. Here we are in a situation where there aren't many more little hurdles to go, and we'll totally be at the behest of a digital system, and we'll be actually part of it, connected up with it, a lot of us. But that's another story. And that was just a reminder for me, which is why I put out that 1 minute 50-second video, just to show people, not look, I've discovered something that nobody's heard about, but just a reminder that this is reality now. There's hardly anything you can do anymore that's in any way, shape or form anonymous. And that includes acting like an idiot online or whatever, right? There's nowhere to hide anymore. There just isn't. And that just reminded me very clearly of that. But anyway, so, but on a more positive note, tomorrow on the 29th of April at 7 p.m. at the Bridge House Hotel, we have our usual Flat Earth social. I was going to be presenting tomorrow, but because of my daughter coming over and it taking up all of my energy, time, and all the rest of it, focus and concentration and all that, there'll be a chap called Guy Anderson doing a presentation, and I do believe not only is he an author, but he focuses on Tartaria. I don't know much more than that because I haven't really had a chance to look into it a bit more deeply regarding him, but I will watch it with intrigue. I'll be there tomorrow at 7 p.m. Oh, by the way, Tartaria or Tartars are a people that still exist. There is a region in modern day Russia, there's a town there called Perm, and the reason why I know that is because my ex-wife's cousin comes from there. They have very specific facial features as well, very high cheekbones, but still with that Western look. So it's not Asian to that degree, but it's a mixture of both, if you like. Very interesting facial sort of structure. But they are called the Tartars, and they do still exist. If we're talking about an actual region that we call Tartaria, well, yes. And the main town there is called Perm. But anyway, there you go. A couple of cars in front of me, they can't decide on who should park where, but that's not my problem because I'm sat here having a coffee and a smoke. I'm just laughing because it's all hands and gestures and this, that and the other, and people get very animated about the smallest, tiniest of issues. Quite funny. Anyway, I was going to go into one or two other topics, but I'll leave that for another day. But it was to do more with perspectives in general, not perspectives that prove a flat Earth. And looking at what are our priorities in life, even with or without certain knowledge that we may or may not possess. And I think, but that's a topic that can get quite deep. So we'll talk about that another day. But there were one or two things over the 10-day visit of my daughter that made it clear to me that there are, as nice as these themes and topics are, and as intriguing as they all are, but there are some basic important things in life that take priority. And that became very clear to me, not that I didn't know that beforehand, but in actuality and reality became very clear to me over the past few days where my daughter was here. Okay, well, on that note, I shall leave it there for now. Like I said, I hope you're all doing well. I hope everybody's remained relatively serene and getting into the week okay. Enjoy the weather if you're experiencing it like I am here in Bournemouth, which is that of nice weather. And I will see you all soon, some of you sooner. So until then, take it all easy and speak to you then. And ta-ta for now.